Hello. I'm back. I'm on my phone this time because like that was bizarre on my computer. So hopefully that some people have come up here. I hope I'm in the group. That was really strange. I've never seen it look like that, but it seemed to say that I had to do it on my computer. So, see this one I can see people. Let's see. Comments will appear here. Enable Q&A. Oh, I don't know about that. Right, oh, I can see people. Hi, Hayes. Hi, Cherry. I can see people are here. Oh, but yes, okay. This is how I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't like that. Laptops, scary. Too much for me. So let's just wait for Kari to come on. But yes, I was rambling a little bit about the new business and what that's going to be. And yeah, that's quite exciting. So if you're watching and you think that might be you, then do get in touch. Let's see, there's Cal. Requests, share broadcasts. So this week we have been talking about independence all week in the group. And yeah, we've had some really, really great conversations actually about independence and how important it is. And people saying that it was a lot of independence was down to them and how they were feeling about their confidence and how much they were allowing their children to have. I still can't see that Kari's watching. I can see that there's 2 people. I don't like Facebook Lives already. So I was going to do these lives on Instagram, and I thought actually most people are on Facebook, so I'd do it on Facebook, but I can't see that anyone is Kari on. Can I comment? Can anyone comment and tag Kari? Are you able to do that and see if that helps her see what we're doing? I don't know. Audience, I can just see one person's here, but I can see that there's more people here. Oh, right, here we go. I might be able to tag her at Kari. There we go. If you've got any questions while we wait, then please let me know. Yeah, pop some questions in the comments, chat to me. Tell me what you've been up to today. I've had a really good day. We went to the beach, which is so unlike me, but I was feeling spontaneous this morning. Never happens like this, but it was very exciting. We just drove the beach. Felixstowe is literally on the A14. Go until you stop. So we went on the beach. It was freezing. The kids were loving the stones and collecting shells and all the stuff they do on there, but they were freezing. So we went in the arcade for the rest of the time, and they had a great time. Emily won 1,000. I think it was 1,000 tickets on one machine. It was like a amazing. Oh, I think I can see Kari. Yes, add. I might be winning. Is she hitting them on camera? It says adding. This is very exciting. We might be making the technology do our thing. Yay!
Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone as well. I was on my laptop, and then I thought, I'm sure something's going to come through. Sorry about that. I've been waving at you through. It's like I'm here.
But because I was trying to do it through the event, it was saying that I had to do it on my laptop. It wouldn't let me do it here. So now I've just gone live in the group. I think that might be a better way of doing it.
Finally,
Honestly.
I love technology.
Me too. Kari, I can't actually see you, but I don't know. Again, that might just be me.
Oh.
Maybe everyone else. Can anyone else see Kari? Let us know.
I can see myself, which
Can you?
isn't, yeah, which
God,
is
no.
probably not the greatest thing.
Anyway, we can hear you, and that's what's most important. Although I'm sure we'd love to see your beautiful face as well.
Double check. It says that my camera's on.
Okay, bring them on camera. You're already in. I don't know. Anyhow, I wonder if anyone else. I can't see any other comments. I don't think so. Should we just get started and see what happens?
Probably good just to go with it, isn't it?
I think so. Right, after everyone's been waiting for so long. Right, so tell us more about you and who you are and what you do, Kari.
Okay, so I'm a parent coach. Oh, Hazel's just said that you can see both of us. So that's
okay. Cool. It's just me then.
So I'm a parent coach, and I'm also an author as well as a trainer. So I have sort of various levels to what I offer. another part of my business is I go into companies and I deliver leadership coaching and training. So I predominantly work with parents, and it's predominantly mums that come for support.
Mhm.
Because in all the years of my professional career, basically what came down to sustainable change was the parents,
Yeah.
starting with you. So you start with yourself, because let's be honest, when our children are born, all of a sudden we have to reparent ourselves. Things we didn't know would annoy us, sleep deprivation, hormones, the whole lot just flow down on us. So a big project that I had when I was a parenting expert was working with social care. Why were so many parents going on parenting courses, but then coming back through the door with issues? And the same with health visitors, when we did have health visitors visiting regularly, and schools. And it was because nobody was saying, okay, where's your emotional strengths? We're asking you to do all this, but how does that make you feel? And it's great giving you all these tools, but if somebody was to give me a tool and say, right, now go and build a house, I'd be like, I'm sorry, what? What's that? So that's where the real strengths of coming from working with the parent, because we tend to go and go, my child needs this, I'm going to get this for my child, I'm going to do this. How can I build a confident child? How can I build a resilient child? How can I help my child at school? How can I notice if they need extra support? And it's like, that's great, but we also have to look at ourselves. I'm a mum, I have 3 adult children. And I'm also a grandma, which is, again, a totally different kettle of fish. But my parenting, I didn't come from a very stable parenting background with my mother. And I realized that actually, I just didn't want to make the same path. I didn't want to go down the same parenting things. And that's what we normally do.
Yeah.
We normally either go, nah, that's not the way I'm going to parent, or we go, do you know what, that was all right, worked for me, and that's great. There are lots of books out there. There are, you go into the parenting section of a bookshop and there's loads of books, especially celebrities and psychologists, and it's great. The trouble is our children haven't read those books. And and nobody says, the first time your child says, I hate you, and I'm sorry for anyone that's got a lovely little baby and hasn't experienced this yet, but the time will come. And if you aren't secure with who you are, if you're not confident in going, actually, I know that's a developmental stage, or I know my child doesn't really mean that. They might in the moment think, I don't like you very much because you're stopping me doing what I want to do. It can send us into a spiral. And we either do 2 things. We then go, I've got to give them everything they want, and I can't set safe boundaries because they're not going to love me.
Mhm.
Or we go the opposite and go, I'm not having my child tell me I'm going to hanker down. I'm going to become more, sort of strict. And we need something in the middle. Basically, our kids and all adults need to know they're loved, that actually they belong, and that they're safe. And, putting safe boundaries in doesn't mean that you can't give them independence and choice to make their own decisions. But it's having the confidence to do that. And I can say this now, but there were times I was sat on the bathroom floor, rocking and crying, thinking, I don't know what to do here. I really don't know what to do. And I just started to think, I need to work on myself. This is not good. Hiding in the bathroom crying is not good for anybody. So that's a bit about me, really.
Lovely. I love listening to all of that, because I'm just like, yes, exactly. We've got so much sort of conditioning from our childhood, haven't we? We're all different, what we bring to parenting. So yeah, so we've been talking about independence this week. I know for some reason I put confidence chat on the event name, but we were talking about independence. So, but I think they're quite interlinked actually myself. So I was just wondering, so what connection do you feel there is between children being independent and children being confident?
I think there's a real strong link there, like you said, because independence comes from trying things and going, do you know what? I know I can put my own shoes on. As frustrating as when you're trying to get out the door is. But it's doing it in ways where you do it in a situation where it's calmer rather than as you're walking out the door. But independence, you know, we all are going to feel that, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, you know, my granddaughter created a word when she was feeling quite anxious about something. She said, I'm nervous and anxious, but I'm also quite excited. And she said, oh, I know what it is. I'm nervous, excited. I'm nervous-sighted.
Oh,
And that's just, yeah. And it's around, actually, we're going to be nervous when we're doing anything independent. Even the most confident people, and I always think of stars that go on and before they go on, they're sick in a bucket, or, you know, someone's just about to run a marathon and they've won 10 marathons, but that doesn't stop them being nervous about the next time. And it is about trying it and knowing that you aren't always going to succeed, but it's okay because it's safe.
yeah.
That for me is the epitome of confidence and independence. Allowing our children as they get older, because obviously you're not going to say to a 2-year-old, yes, you can go down the park for a walk, I'll see you later. But you know, it's allowing them that little bit of walking ahead on a park so that, and they turn around and they know you're there. Oh, mum, and you know, mum, dad, grandma, they're there. And then if I need to go back to them, they're there. And slowly I see parenting as you just step back slightly. In today's world, it's very scary. We didn't have, when my children were growing up, mobile phones came in when they were about 13. And I mean, the oldest one was older, but there was no sort of social media on there. So we had to have things like, okay, where are you going? Who are you going to be with? What time are you going to be back? And it's not about policing them. It's just going, okay, so who are you going with? Oh, I'm going to go with my friend Dave. Okay, Dave who? Because you've got 3 friends called Dave. And where are you going to be? We're going to be, you know, we had a wreck. We're going to be at the wreck. Okay, right. Which one? Because, you know, is it going to be the one in the village or is it going to be one in the village next door? What time are you going to get home? Do you want me to pick you up? Okay, you know, the boundary is if you are going anywhere else, somehow you have to let me know. So if you're going to go back to Dave's house, you have to ask, can I ring mum and let her know that I'm here now? And I used to say it as well, because there was a situation where my sister was rushed into hospital and I had to get to the hospital. So I had to go and pick my son, who was 8, who was playing at the bottom of the road. I had to go and get him to say, look, you've got to come home because my friend's going to come and sit with you while I go to the hospital. So it was learning that it's not just us as parents going, oh, you're just trying to control me. It's actually sometimes in an emergency, I might need to contact you. How am I going to do that? And that's all about that confidence and building that into the conversation that you're having. It doesn't mean things aren't going to go amiss. It doesn't mean all kids will push the boundaries. They will. And if they're not, it's probably because they don't feel they can.
Yeah.
Or you won't find out till they're adults. To be honest.
Oh yes.
You know, I loved when my kids would sit round at 18 with their mates and they'd be talking about situations and I'd be going, I didn't know that. You know? Be like, oh, okay. But at the same time, it's about having those conversations and building that in. And you know, parenting's about love and limits. That's what
Yeah,
it is. And
absolutely. Yeah.
but you know, it's hard. It's really hard. I've seen it change, you know, from when my mum was a parent to when I became a parent to my children now being a parent. And although the fundamentals don't change, there's so much more pressure now. And I get particularly passionate when parents are shamed. Oh, it's got to be the parents' fault. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's an easy get out clause. And actually, you know, it's really hard for parents because a lot of their confidence has been taken away.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the support systems that I had and was really lucky to have, they're not there now.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was that debate recently about the amount of children that start in school and they're not potty trained, or they're not reading at all or anything. And people were like, well, it was all the parents' fault. And I was trying desperately to sort of just be like, yeah, but lots of parents don't have any support, and we've taken all the support away. So from lots of our perspectives, that's really unbelievable to think that could be happening. But I think we need to realize that we're coming from that privileged position, don't we, of that support. But some people don't have anything. So I was kind of just being like, yeah, but some of these parents can't even read. Like, I've worked with parents that cannot read, and they're so ashamed of it that of course they wouldn't tell you that as a professional.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because no one admits to not being able to read. Everyone says, oh, I can't do maths, but no one would admit to not being able to read. But yeah, but yeah, no, the parent shaming thing, everyone comes from a different perspective and a different point of their lives, don't they? So yeah,
it's for me coming from curiosity. So what is it that's happened that so many children are going to school that aren't ready?
Yeah.
What support could be offered? How can we work together? That would be, you know, and also it's about having a conversation that isn't generic, because some children do take longer. There may be a medical issue. It could be that there's confusion because we've been, you know, there's so many, honestly, isn't there, so many out there that go, well, this is how you do it, and then you do it and think, well, that didn't work. It's like, you know, or maybe I'm not well, that didn't work, so I'm doing it wrong. So okay, oh no, someone else said that, oh, I'm confused.
There's just so much, isn't there? There's so much noise out there.
Okay, that's great. But let's go back a little bit. So yes, it's really hard. It's really hard, and it's very noisy, like you say, out there.
It is. The other thing, as you were talking, was the bit about for a parent and it being scary to let them have that little bit of independence, and it is scary, isn't it? And it's also, I think you mentioned something about it. It's quite bittersweet, isn't it? Every time we notice that they've gained a little bit of independence, we're so proud of them, but at the same time we're like, oh, they're getting a bit bigger and they're getting that bit further away from you, and it's that bittersweet sort of watching them grow up, being proud, but also being like, oh.
Yeah, and I think it's funny, isn't it? Because it changes from when our children start crawling and the excitement, the first smile, the first smile, and everyone's excited, you know, when they start sort of, they're standing up, and then they start to walk, and there's excitement and encouragement. But it changes because as children develop, and I would say to any parent, learn the development stage of your child.
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of parents who say, my child just doesn't, I'm telling them, you know, like about their emotions and stuff like that. And I'm saying to them, a 4-year-old cannot naturally regulate their emotions. It's that constant, we have to, you know, keep reminding them, but also not expecting, because sometimes the expectation of adults on children, and it happens in all fields. I see it in schools. I see the fact that the expectation that they have can sometimes be very unfair because the child's not capable of reaching that expectation. It's not that they don't want to, they just can't. And then when they don't, they get so upset about it, or they, oh, I've just seen, yeah, there's a comment, the demise of Sure Start facilities. Yeah. And the demise, when it first came out, was for everyone, because every parent would be able to access it. And then it became, oh, targeted. And it's like, we just need something for parents, you know. Just when I think about when my first child, when I was pregnant with my first child, I had regular visits with my local GP. I had regular visits with the health visitor. We had anti and post and antenatal classes all thrown in. Didn't have to pay for them, regular. And I lived in a very small village. We had toddler groups set, you know, that mums whose children were slightly older had set up. I stayed in hospital. I wasn't allowed out until 5 days with my first, because, and I was taught how to bathe him. I was taught how to change, you know, what to look for, all those things. And I'm not saying we need to go back to that, but the support that was there, and it was like, oh, okay. And I think about my my daughter-in-law, who's my youngest grandchild's too. She had a cesarean. 2 days she was sent home. The midwife came round and went, oh, well, you've got 2 other children, you're fine. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You know, this is a major operation. She may have 2 other children. However, doesn't mean that she's not going to have, you know, hormone issues and other things, or feel that she can't get up, and she gets up too early because the kids all need her. And so we have to remember that as well. And it's really hard. And this is controversial, and I know it is, but that's me. I this is, you know, it's just from my observation, and I come from a place of curiosity and respect. But there's so much change in society, but we have services that are stuck in 100 years ago in how, you know, and the expectation is that education now will become this place where they deal with everything. However, staff are not trained or equipped. A teacher is not trained in individual behavior. A teacher has a very short training on neurodiversity.
I think we had 1 day my teacher training.
Yeah, I had I think it was one. Yeah, we had one lecture on behavior, and all I remember is the guy came in. He was amazing, but what stuck with me was he told me, our cohort, when I was doing my PGCE, that if there's a behavior issue in your class, as a teacher, it's down to you. And I was like, oh, okay then. And it was around making sure you know their names, making sure you've set things up. Nothing about the additional needs, especially in society where things have changed so much. I have a grandchild who's going through the process of being assessed at the moment. And the school have an amazing program, but they want her to conform, and she's not capable of conforming in the way they want her to. And that's the challenge, because they haven't got the staff, they haven't got the provisions, they just haven't got that. And that's tough. It's tough on parents, especially parents with SEND children, because they then have to become the advocate. They then have to become, you know, their everything to sort of ensure that they get the support that they need.
And that's exhausting, because it's really hard.
It's really hard. It's very hard. And it's about sometimes, not necessarily, not just with neurodiversity, you know, with neurotypical children, if we take on being their mouthpiece, when you go back to confidence and independence, it can really stop them, because they then think, I can't do this on my own. I can't have a conversation without the, you know, a person being there. And it's the same with parents, that, you know, when I was working as a parenting expert, what I found, and when I was training professionals, was you need to make sure the parent has the confidence to do this without you, because so many parents believed, I can't do this without an expert, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we will help you. And again, it's that visual that we'll be behind you, and as you move forward, we'll slowly step back, and then there will be a time where we're there, and you can sort of get support, or just get a little bit of a conversation, ring up and have a conversation. But you've got it, you've got this, you can do this. And
Yeah.
at every stage you'll go, actually, I remember when your child becomes a young person between 10 and 14, most very challenging age group,
I'm not there
will
yet.
no you will say, do you know what, this is hard, but I know I've done hard things before. I can do this. I can do this because I know I can get support with it, or I can speak to somebody, or there's groups like your group that I can go in and just go,
Yeah.
hey, I'm struggling with this. And you can guarantee there are 20 other, 30 other, 40 other parents out there that go, oh, I'm struggling with it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So if we're all struggling with it, it's not personal.
Yeah. And that's why I've made like a big pivot in what I'm doing. Because I feel like I can help so many more people if I help the parents. And then if they know how to do things and they feel empowered to do it, then they're going to feel so much better in themselves. And like you said right at the start, we have to work on ourselves before we can help our children. So yeah, I love everything you've said so far. But so one, as our last little bit, if you had to give one top tip for the people watching on independence that they could do, like something really easy, actionable, what would that be?
Okay, so depending on the age of your child, so letting them try things that they're capable of. So and praising them for it. Not I'm very much against praise just to praise, or positive just to positive, but just saying, I notice how you're trying.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when they complete something, being available for them, to just that praise of, oh, look at this, you worked really hard on it, I bet you're happy. So it's making them realize how proud they are of themselves, and not always trying to make other people proud. I know that might sound, but it's about them knowing, oh gosh, I did this, I'm proud of myself. And parents giving them the space to do it.
Yeah.
Also, when they don't do it, and again, just sort of going, I know it can be really frustrating, what could you try? Or look, watch me, and I'm thinking about something like putting trousers on. Watch me. Giving them the choice, not opening the wardrobe and saying, what would you like to wear today, because that's overwhelming, but do you want blue trousers, or do you want the red trousers? And that, so they're taking those small steps. It's about small steps, and I know it's really hard in today's busy world, but just noticing and allowing. And I can say this because I'm a grandma, but actually sometimes it's about biting your tongue and your whatever, if they're making a mess because they're trying to do something.
Yes. Yeah. It's sort of going into something like accepting that this may be slower than you could do it, it may be messier than you could do it, and the end result might not be as good as you could do it, but you're looking at the long term, not the short term sort of I don't know the word, but yeah.
And I always there was a poem or a story, whatever, and it was about, you know, when I was 2 years old, I drew the sky. Someone said it's not yellow. I went to school and I drew a horse, and someone said horses are brown, they're not blue. By the time I was 10, I stopped drawing. And it reminds me of that because, like you say, it might not be to your standard. It might be that they're taking longer than it needs to be. It might be that they have made a beautiful Duplo or Lego sort of thing, object. Sorry, my words are going. But it doesn't look like the picture.
Yeah.
But it's really important that at that stage, it's like, wow, you built that on your own.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the effort that you put in.
Yeah, because they've got enough time as adults that, you know, if something needs to be a particular way, and even as adults, we go, actually, done is better than perfect. And perfectionism is because actually I am worried about failing.
Yeah, absolutely. And failure's not always a bad thing.
No, I've learned many things, and I fall. It's not about failing. It's about falling and bouncing back up again.
Yeah. Someone said to me that fail is just, it should mean first attempt in learning, not that you've done you've done really badly. Anyway, I'm just conscious of time. I could actually talk to you for hours, I think. But does anyone have any sort of burning questions for Kari now? Not that I can see comments, I don't think. I can see some. If you have, then pop them in the comments. If not, you can always comment on the post afterwards, and I'm sure either me or Kari can help with answering those. But nothing is popping up, I don't think.
No, I can't actually see anything. I will stay in the group, and if there are any questions, pop an answer.
Okay.
So
Lovely.
because sometimes it's not till afterwards people go, oh.
Yeah, and people will, I'm sure they'll watch it on replay. But yes, thank you so much. That was so valuable and so helpful. And yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. It's been great being here. Take care.
Lovely to meet you. And yep, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.